It's recording. Alright, cool. Alright, so this is our game, Cellular Warfare, which is to teach middle school to high school age biology students about the basics of the basic interactions of bacteria and the human immune system. In order to play the game, you're going to need these 6 bacteria cards. You're going to start with 2 at the beginning of the game, and your goal is to reach all 6 in order to win. You also need these 5 antigen, or these are your 5 variations. So these are your virulence factors that let you change how your cell works. We have 18 of these red tokens, which will come into effect later in the game, and these chips, which are just to help you keep track of what your antibody score is, which I'll explain in just a minute. So for the beginning of this game, you start with your 2 starting bacteria, and you get to pick any of these 3 variations, the one exception being you cannot take slick capsule and sticky capsule together. Capsule is the outer layer of a bacteria, and you can't have both at the same time. So for mine, I'm going to take exotoxin, antigen variation, and flagella. So you take these cards, they have this antibody score up in the corner. So you add those up to get your total score for your cell. So for mine, it's going to be a score of 8. So just over here in the corner, I put down this. This is just for me to help me keep track of it, because for die rolls, which require a 6-sided and a 20-sided die, that'll come into effect later. So the game is played in stages, where you have you go through and you try to move, you try to infect, you see if you've been detected by the immune system, see if you can escape it. And then, because I have exotoxin, there's another stage, which is if you have it and you've been caught by the immune system, you get a chance to kill the immune cell. And then at the end of the stage, if you've successfully infected anything, you get to replicate. So let's go through 2 or 3 rounds, sort of just to start the game off. So I have my 2 starting bacteria and everything picked out. I'm just going to play with this as it's set up. So I roll a 6-sided die to see if I get to move. And so the rules are that if I roll a 1 or a 1 to 2 if I have the flagella attached. So I rolled a 4. That means I don't get to I didn't move, I didn't successfully find any cells to infect. So I skip the infection stage and move on to see if the body detected this cell. So, which also requires, this one requires the 20-sided die. Okay. So I got an 18, which is well above my that's well above my antibody score. So the cell gets to escape, and he's not detected by the body at this point. Since he wasn't detected, his turn sort of just ends there. And because he didn't infect anything, he doesn't get to replicate at the end of the round. So now we do the same thing for our second cell. So initially, let's roll our 6-sided die. We got a 5. I don't successfully get to move again, but just for the sake of showing how the game is played, we're going to say I got a 1. So if I rolled the 1 there, I've successfully moved to a cell now. So this is like, the idea is that you've moved to a human or a host cell that you're trying to infect. So I now roll for infection. I got a 2, which now lets me, so I now get to infect. I successfully infected the cell, which means this guy is now hidden from the immune system. So he's no longer, I get to skip the detection stage and the escape stage. Also, exotoxin isn't needed. So now that ends my round, or ends my turn, and since I only had 2 rounds, so now I get a third bacteria at the beginning of this is my new turn, so I get my third bacteria because this guy this guy successfully infected something. So now this would just sort of keep going sort of with this idea and the way that these red tokens are explained. So just for the sake of time, I'm just going to explain this to you. These red tokens are used. So let's say this guy does not successfully move, but then he gets detected by the immune system, which is a roll of... so you get detected unless you get a 1 or a 2, or a 1 or a 3 if you have slit capsule or antigen variation, or 1 to 4 if you have both of those. And since I have antigen variation, that means I would have needed to roll a 1 or a 2 to escape. But let's say for this sake, I rolled the 18 again. Doesn't matter. I got detected. So now he gets to fight off the immune system, but he also gets this red chip on him, which means that he's been detected by the immune system. And so for this cell, his antibody score, which is 8 for all of our basic cells, his score is now 9. So this is to model that after you've been detected by the immune system, that cell gets marked by antibodies in the real sort of interaction, meaning he's now more attractive to immune cells in the future. And we also then, because he's been detected, let's say he doesn't escape, the antigen variation didn't help me out at all, because I have this exotoxin card, he then gets to roll again, the 20-sided die, rolling a 1 to 3, which I did not get, so I got a 7. So rolling a 1 to 3 would have let me kill the cell, so that's another method of escape. Other than just slipping away, you can actually kill the cell, which is just an interesting thing, which is why he has the highest antibody score on his card. He's pretty toxic. I think that's a pretty good demonstration of the basic rules of the game, so have fun.